Hello, everybody. Hopefully, this is working because I reconfigured it and it should be a little bit better. Let's hope. Hope for little things. Oh, what do I got in my pocket here? I got my car keys. Oh, there it is. I was looking for my Charlotte Flair autographed card, and it's sealed. The Queen. So I'm going to put that right over here. Hope you are all having a wonderful Super Bowl Sunday. I probably won't even watch the game. I don't care. I don't think this has been a great year. It's a funny thing. Ever since gambling companies have gotten behind, betting's become legal, it's weird how a lot of the games take weird turns, mysterious calls. I gotta get this out of the way. I've got to do some filming today, and a lot of other stupid stuff. It takes away from the game. It really does. I mean, some of the calls, and obviously, you can't say for sure. But the stuff's fixed. I mean, let's be honest, okay? And when there's money to be made, nobody can, Jimmy the Greek was good, but he wasn't great. He was wrong half the time. But again, I don't care who wins. I mean, if you're a Chiefs fan, hey, wow, that's great. That's a great team. If you're an Eagles fan, geez, you get your revenge match, and it kind of has a little bit of wrestling behind it, the return match after you've been jobbed, and we'll see what happens. So it's just I don't think I'll be staying up that late for it, to be honest with you. A couple things. The auction, as you know, is over. We're going to have another one real soon, in a couple weeks. That'll be more a ton, because I went to the storage unit yesterday, and I started digging stuff out, and oh my God, there's just too much stuff. So I'm really at that point where I'm just trying to get rid of as much as I can. It's all got to go, I think, at some point. And I just think it's a smart thing to do. I'm coming up on 10 years of doing this at the end of March. And, I've got a big thing coming up, and a decision that I'm trying to formulate and make. And, we'll see what happens March 30th. Okay. There'll be a video. It's already been shot. It's actually been shot, reshot, and then shot again. And I've got it scheduled. I've got to fill in some gaps with some things. We got a bunch of stuff from GMT that I want to cover. And we got Freedom 5 coming up. The great Robert from Arcane Wonders was kind enough to send us a copy of that, so we're going to be really delving into that. Lock and load stuff. I mean, I got they sent me a ton of stuff. God bless them. David Heath, what a fantastic human being. So we're going to be taking a look at that stuff, which kind of puts me. Well, I'm gonna wait a few minutes before I go too far into that. What time is it? 8:18. I'm on a schedule today. I really am. So, getting back to the auction, because I start bouncing all over the place. Everything kind of went, except for one game that I didn't realize was really on sale, and I thought it was, out of print and rare, and that's Rise of the Oculides, and nobody took that. And I still have 7 lots of bases, of those really cool bases from the old Cool Mini or Not. And anybody that might still be interested in them, you can email me at novaprime860 at hotmail.com, or they're going to end up in the next auction. We had a couple people that bought some and got them at a really, really good deal, which is great. Got rid of a lot of stuff, and I just really got to keep pushing. Hey, Clint, how you doing? So those bases, like I said, if somebody gets a hold of me, I know Phoenix got a hold of me. I got to write him back. I haven't had a chance. It's been kind of crazy, and I got a kind of story to tell you that goes with it a little bit, and I think you'll understand what I think. Hold on here. Oh, okay. Yeah, just especially by my cover of this whole thing. I had done a couple of reviews, and I don't expect everybody to agree with me. And all you ask is that people are respectful, but people get so hateful, and it's laughable. It really is laughable at best. Okay, and these internet tough guys, and one person has been around here for a while and decided to bow up a bit and just be stupid. So I just deleted the post because when you've been around a long time, I give you some grace, okay? But if you disagree with me, that's okay. That's fine. It's when you're disrespectful and you're a punk. Okay, that's when I have a problem. And because this person had this one particular person had been around for a while, I just deleted it and chose not to respond to it because I didn't want to say something because I do like people. You see people's comments and you tend to like them. They don't always agree with you, this, that, and the other, but that's okay. You have a friend or something that says, no, sky's blue. Okay, it looks kind of purple to me. It's all opinion, which doesn't mean shit. And after doing this for 10 years, you really get thick skin. Early on, I'd be like losing my mind. I'd be setting up a cage match in Shea Stadium. That's how long ago I've been doing this. And cutting a wild promo, but now it's just sad. It really is. It's sad that you would and the game that we're talking about is Dragons Down. I like the game. I just was like, oh, the chips, they kind of remind me of Chip Theory. And I kind of went, it just kind of hit me funny. Well, that's just me telling you how I feel. Okay? And people took that so personally. But they didn't hear that I like the game. It's complex. It's not the easiest thing. It's a good game. It's a good game. Okay? Because I'm not, waving, running up and down the street, waving a flag, saying this is the greatest game ever made. And then all of a sudden, everybody else's opinion becomes the most important thing. Well, I feel that this is, okay, that's your opinion. I don't give two shits what you think. Okay? You shouldn't give two shits what I think. Okay? To be honest with you. You don't. Nobody's going to agree with you all the time, and it seems like every 6 months you got to have this, bring this up. But it made me even think even more how much this is not the end all be all, but yet it is for some people. This is all they have, and that's okay. But there's a lot more to life. There really is. We recently had somebody that's we've invested a lot of time into, that's very close to us, that that is having a problem with suicide. And you try to be encouraging, you try to be helpful, you try to keep an eye out, you're always checking on them. You're over there, you're sitting with them while they're crying, and it's really a hard thing to watch. And then you come back here and you look at this, and then you get stupid comments, and you go, there's so much more to life. There's so much more, you know? I look at my grandchildren, I look at my children, my wife, our animals, My girl here is getting old, she's been my best friend in the whole world. And I say this all the time, tomorrows are not guaranteed. They're not. They're not. You don't know what tomorrow brings. Every time my wife and I would wake up in the morning, we go, okay, we've got to go check on this person. Please, please God, let them be here. And, slowly they came out of it. They just had a real tough time. But, and you try to find and get help, and, people don't want help sometimes, and, you have to deal with that, and, you walk a fine line. And it really made me take a look at all this and realize that this is nothing. These are games. Some of this stuff will never be played. Will never be played. Yet people live and die by it. They throw themselves on their sword. Now, to be fair, everybody has their own thing. That's important to them. Okay? That helps them get through life. For this, yeah, a lot of this stuff helps people get through life. And I respect that. But just because somebody doesn't agree, you don't agree with somebody, doesn't mean you have to mistreat somebody. Think about that. We have differences in life, Does that mean I cut them out of my life? No. I just don't agree with all your views. And that's one of the biggest problems with society today. Is everybody thinks, if their team isn't winning, then no matter what the other team's doing, it's wrong. When, maybe a little from both sides. Because none of us have all the answers. None of us. And it just made me evaluate things even more and think, what are the things that I want to do going forward? I've been, physically, 10 years it's a lot of mileage. And I put a lot of mileage on this body over a lifetime, okay? And life, any of you that have been around here know how tough life has been for me physically lately, but just my life in general, growing up and all the different, no different than a lot of you, okay? And you get to a point where you just kind of, okay, is this all we get? And then, you have some things that happen around you, and you realize that there's so much more, and that you should appreciate each day so much more. If you have something, like a game like Dragon Down, and it means the world to you, enjoy it, embrace it, okay? Share it with your friends, play with your friends, play with your kids and your family, and enjoy things, okay? Whatever makes you happy. But if somebody doesn't agree and goes, it's okay, that's not an attack on you personally. It's just somebody doesn't feel the same way that you do. And people should be allowed to do that. Rob, we love you because you're a real guy and a good dude. All the best to you. Well, thank you, Deplorable. Boy, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing, my brother? I hope you're doing well. And Clint, I hope you're doing good as well. And make sure, a lot of you I know. 10 years, you see a lot of people. You see them come, you see them go. Um, I've had a lot of successes, a lot of losses. And, at the end of the day, when I look at this channel and what it's done, I'm proud of what I've done. I was able to work a full-time job, driving an hour and a half to work each day. Okay. I was able to take care of a family during this, and then still find time to create almost 5,000 videos. I mean, think about that. Think about that. And I always said what I feel, always believed what I believed. You know, you try not to hate or be pissed off at people, but it's a funny thing. I tried to tell this to my daughter. She had something recently happen to her, and she was spitting fire, and I tried to explain to her that there's a lot of not good people out there. Okay, they don't have your interest. She went out of her way and did some things for people, and she got burned every time. But you cannot lose your faith in mankind. Okay? You have to pick yourself up, dust off, and really, really find your way. And you can't lose faith. You have to have hope. If you lose hope, there's nothing to life. Hope is probably one of the most important things. Shawshank Redemption, that one line when he's reading the letter. I hope this letter finds you well. I hope you're willing to go a little bit further. Hope may be one of the greatest things. And then Morgan Freeman and just talks about all the hopes and how he's scared, and yet he has hope. And it's the thing that drives him. The most important message in that movie, it's not about the prison. It's about that one word, hope. If you have it, you can do anything. If you don't have it, you have nothing. And, when I read these things, I it's not that you lose hope. It's you start questioning, why am I doing some of the things that I'm doing? And why do I put myself through this? Why do I come out here on Sunday where I should be relaxing, prepping for work next week, filming, then editing, trying to do, this, that, and the other. And, it's not like it's work. It's a driven passion. Okay. Because you definitely don't get paid enough. But, it's something that you enjoy doing. You enjoy sharing your thoughts. You enjoy interacting with people. It becomes like a little club. And then, people enter into the club and maybe they don't like it. Okay, if you don't like it, just go. It's okay. It's okay. It's not for everybody. Tom Vassell got 1 million people watching him. Rodney Smith has 1 million people checking him out. But he doesn't have them all. Because some people just don't agree. Or just go, oh, it's not my cup of tea. I like the little guys. I like the medium guys. I like this guy. And there are just so many different people. Some are good. Some are bad. Some are fake. Some are in it because they love it. Some are in it because they think they're going to be world famous. Some are in it because they want to make money and get free games. Some are in it for all the right intentions. But there are so many different variables. Okay? You can give a game to 100 people. And they all can do reviews on it. And a lot of them will be good. A lot of them will be bad. Some of them will be indifferent. Some of them will be hateful. Some of them will be in love with the thing. But that's the thing. Which one's right? Can you tell me? The one that's right is the one that you align with. It's right for you. And that's great. But that doesn't mean that you stand upon a mountain and throw yourself on a sword for a game. You know, you don't stand there on top of and start throwing rocks and stones at the people that don't agree with your side of things. It's funny. Let me read some of the comments here. Let me put on my stupid... These are my outside glasses. These are the stupidest glasses because I would never wear these in public. Couldn't agree with you. Couldn't agree more with your comments. Love you, man. Been following you a long time, RPG. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. The Plural says, doing well, man. Just YouTube takes me to different interests, including board games, and I bounce around. Right now, it's more tech and computers. Well, you know, I'm glad you kind of said that, the plural, because I'm going to hit on that next. Honestly, I got a bit addicted to buying board games and not playing them. Yeah, me too. I buy too many games too. They are harder to sell than to buy. I agree, Clint, because I'm going through that right now as I'm trying to get rid of a lot of stuff. You know, you just kept on buying and you know, doing reviews. And you got to kind of remember, I've done, you know, maybe, 4,000 reviews? That's 4,000 games. Where do you put them all? Not to mention the ones I didn't even get to. Yes. But 4,000 games. How excessive is that? If you try to play a game a day, what would that equate to, folks? Somebody do the math. 4,000 games. How long would it take you? 365 days a year. Divided into 4,000. I just don't feel like grabbing my phone and doing the calculator. Somebody give me an average on that. And then you got to take the time. Boy, setup and all that stuff. You know, how many hours would it take? Whew. That's scary. That's a scary thought. And people don't realize that. So how many games do you really need? If you had to cut it all the way down. 10 years, 11 years. Okay, 10, 11. How... you know, at my age, do I have 11 years left? We're all in the same club, man. Do you have 11 years left? Okay, so now you got to think, there's no way I'm going to... If I play a game a week, you know, I'm lucky. You got to think. So now 52. Can you imagine that? How long would it be? Okay, now do the math on this. 4,000 games. 52 weeks in a year. Yeah, 52 weeks. So how many weeks would that be? And then how many weeks would that equate to? If you did one game a week. Okay, so that's 52. I mean, it'd probably take you like 50, 60 years. There's no way you would be able to play everything. And yet you have how many, you know, if you played one game a week and you have 100 games, it'd take you two years. Okay? So, I mean, what are we doing? Now, I'm not trying to kill the board game buying business, but, you know, really think about it. With your time, your work, you know, the time you have to do things around the house, the time, you know, you got to take the wife shopping, and you got to help do these things, the dogs, the kids, paying the bills, making sure you've done everything, and then you've got that time to play a game. Okay, maybe you're lucky once a week. Okay, and you've got have an overabundance of games. Okay, and then you got to learn the damn thing, right? Maybe you like a game so much that you want to play it twice, or maybe 3 times over 3 weeks. How many games do you really need? Okay, this is a guy that does this for a living, and I'm telling you, I have way too much, and the hardest thing is separation, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so I've been playing board games since I was a kid. Okay, so that's a long time. Let's say 40 years. Okay, and if you really look at this, okay, somebody wrote. Wargaming Wanderlust. Good morning, all. Late join. That's okay. You can watch it over. I'd probably keep Mage Knight, Too Many Bones, and another one. Good one. Rob, you're hitting on the exact reason I stopped buying. The arithmetic is merciless. Marcus, how are you? I buy a lot, but I also sell a lot. Keeping my entire library of games under 50 is a goal, and so far I'm holding to it. That's not too bad, because if you think about it, Marcus, if you play a game once a week, that's a year's worth of games, right? It's a year's worth of games. Okay? And that means you only play the game once if you play once a week, okay? If you play more, and like I said, if you have something that you really love, like for me, Warhammer Quest, that comes out a few times a year. But a few times, I play it a few times a year. I've been around 40 years, 40 years, and I've collected this massive collection, okay? And there are things on here that mean something to you. And the hardest thing about this, okay, and this is the point I was trying to get to before I checked with everybody, is here you are, okay? You have all these wonderful, wonderful games, and maybe you played something with a bunch of friends when you were younger, and you still have that game. How do you get rid of that? You hadn't played it for maybe 20 years, but you still have. Silent Death. Very hard for me to get to the table. Because the kids are too young. My son does other things. He likes certain things. But that's a game that we used to play in the winter. And this, I remember we got hit with a blizzard. And a matter of fact, when my son was young, he was 10 years old at the time. He's 30-something now, right? And we were sitting there, and my wife was baking cookies, and we're playing Silent Death all most of the afternoon. And then we went to go play, because his sister, I remember this day, because it was a memory. I remember this day. And the thing is that I remember, the snowstorm started on a Friday. So that night, I started the fireplace. My wife lays on the couch, and I always laugh about this. When she's exhausted and the fire's going and she's comfy, she starts to drool. So I'm watching TV, and back then, the Iron Chef was a big thing. Now, this is the 90s. And late night, I watched that. Then I watched wrestling. Then I watched some Tales from the Dark Side, and then I started playing some video games. 2:00 in the morning, go to sleep, wake up. Kids wake up. They're all excited. I plow the driveway. It's still snowing. Okay, I plowed 2 feet of snow. Then came back in. And my wife, she used to have this big bow in the back of her hair. I mean, the thing was amazing. She was such a cutie. She still is. But kids, can we do something? Can we do something? And Mimi and Katie were upstairs. They were playing on the Nintendo 64, and they were playing Pokemon Snap. Okay, so I said, all right. I go, we can't play that, but come on, we'll go downstairs, and we'll play Silent Death. And we played for a couple hours, and in that time, my wife was baking, because we were all snowed in. She made cookies. She baked a pie. And then she made, we had for dinner, we had these nachos or whatever the heck it was. But it was glorious. After we got done playing Silent Death, the girls came down. They go, can we do something together? And I had the original, oh God, what the heck were we? No, I can't remember what system it was. But we played Gauntlet, 4-player Gauntlet. It was the one that was really cool because you would level up. And you would go to these different, I think it's Dark something or nothing. Dark something, Gauntlet Dark Legacy. I think that's what it was. And my youngest daughter, who was at the time all of about 4, would run around. She understood how to use the controller. But she would run around and we would kill everything and trying to level up, and she would take all the experience. And we'd have to fight the spiders 10 times, but we didn't care. We sat there all afternoon and played that. And that game means something to me. How do you get rid of it? You may never play it again, but how do you get rid of it? How do you get rid of things like Car Wars? Yeah, I got the new Car Wars. But how do I get rid of the old Car Wars? Blood Bowl. I have every version of Blood Bowl. My wife bought one for me when we were we were broke, and she sent away from Canada because I was going and I was playing in these tournaments all the time at our local store, and I had gotten these wood elves. That was the only team I had, and I painted them, and I said, man, I would love to have this game because, I'd like to play with my son, but I couldn't find it anywhere. She, for Valentine's Day, which is coming up this week, went and got me a copy that she found in Canada, and I thought it was the greatest thing. Then I painted all those figures, and now I had humans, I had orcs, and I had my wood elves. And then people would come over. At least I could put the game out. And we were always playing Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl was a big thing, especially during football season. We had a league, which was fantastic. How do you get rid of all that? Like I said, it's tough to get rid of things, and it's okay to collect things because they bring memories. But when is it that you say, well, this looks cool, maybe I'll get to it. I'll hold on to it. Nah, if you ain't playing it, man, psst. And it's tough, especially when somebody like me who has this channel, if it's slow, if you have a slow March and April as everybody gears up for Gen Con and stuff like that to have all the releases, you want to have something to kind of show somebody and make some videos, have some content. That becomes excessive, but that is becoming less and less important to me as well. Let me read some of these comments before I keep going here. Let's go up there. I mean, I buy a lot, but I also sell a lot. Keeping my okay. That's awesome, Marcus. Hi says Funk Bass Fusion. What's up, my brother? Clint says amazing. I mean, it's cool to have this is from Deplorable to have a library of neat games. I guess that's why we do it. Yeah, it's okay, but sometimes you got to kind of you got to see the big picture, I guess. I do have some I can't detach from due to nostalgia reasons, but in general, I don't keep anything that won't get played. Marcus says, some games I have only for solitaire, but I count those. Okay, that's cool, Marcus. Clint says, the worst ones are the games like Brimstone that have a ton of time and money and take up a lot of space. But I only play once a year. Yeah, see, that's the fight that I'm having with myself right now, is getting rid of all the Shadows of Brimstone and Massive Darkness stuff. If I get rid of that, I really would get rid of a lot of stuff. I have about 300 games. I'm thinking about getting rid of my two-player only games, as I only play solo and multiplayer games. I think I will keep our Heresy FFG two-player game though. Oh, Horus Heresy. Sorry. Think about it though, John. 300 games. Okay. You would have to play a game a day. A game a day. To really get value. And that would take you 1 year. The AI at Board Game Geek (BGG) probably thinks I was killed in an automobile accident. Says Deplorable. Wandering Game Lust retracted his message. John says Horse Heresy, Fantasy Flight. I meant. Oh, okay. See, I'm getting there. Ha! Says Marcus to Deplorable Hex. Wargame Wanderlust. Was that the Northeastern in 96? I remember being snowed in for a week. Yes, it was. And I didn't even go into the other days because those were just as fun. Marcus. Robo Rally and Republic of Rome will never leave my collection. Marcus. Robo Rally because I think it's insane fun, and Republic of Rome because it was the first heavy board game I ever played. John Shepard, I love my Ogre team. Yeah, my Chaos team's my boys now. But I always have a soft spot for those Wood Elves because they were the only team there, and nobody would play them. And I said, okay, I'll play them. And I made it to the playoffs that year, my first year. Game that I will never get rid of is Second Front and Scorched Earth from Europa, from GDW. And the reason for it is kind of something of a memory, because there was this guy who ran a store in Manchester called Fathers and Son. His name was Gary Stignato, I think it was. And people should remember this guy. He was, I like to bring it up because I don't want his memory ever to be forgotten. He was a different type of guy, and I got pissed at him because he had a copy of Space Hulk, and I said, I didn't have enough money. And back then, you didn't have, an ATM, cards where you just go, boop. I did everything with cash. I said, listen, I just got to run the bank. I'll be right back. It was at that point, it was it was in the 90s. I said, I will buy that. And I said, I will be back tomorrow morning. I promise you I will buy it. Okay. Go home. Go to the bank. Get some money out. Next day, do my work. Head over there. And it's gone. I go, I told you I'd be back to get it. He goes, yeah, but somebody came in here and buy it. There was no guarantee that you were going to come in here. I understood it, but I got pissed, and I wouldn't go back to the store for a while. But before that, and I'll tell you the story, that's just how different he was. But he taught me Europa, and he used to write a lot in the magazine, and he loved that game. And it's a very complex war game. And he would sit there with me for hours and show me, the different versions and stuff like that. And I always would buy stuff from him, spend a good amount of money. And I had everything for Europa. When Second Front came out, back then it was an expensive game at $150. Imagine that. That's like $300 to $400 today. It's a Kickstarter, and it's huge. The map takes up this whole table. So, yeah, I said I was going to keep this short today, but, hey, when we get going, we get going. And, I would see him at this convention. There was a convention in Fairhaven, and I would go to it, and it was this little hotel. It was a little shit wargaming convention. But I really enjoyed it. And I had a friend, Glenn. He was from Britain, so he knew all the, he taught me about DBA and all that kind of stuff, because over in Britain, I think they always did it. That's where a lot of the factories were, that would make a lot of the 15 mil. And we got into all that stuff. And I would see him there, and I'd be indifferent to him for a while. But eventually I went back to the store and started talking to him again. So I would go in there and buy stuff and this, that, and the other. And when War Game come out, he would promote it like no tomorrow. And, of course, I would buy it. And the funny thing is that he had a son, very young son. And I remember going in there one day, and, I bought a couple things. And I was walking out to my car, and his son was there. And his son had to be about maybe 6 or something. And he had a little War Game set up. And I walked out, and I looked back for some reason. I don't know why. But there he was, and I just looked for, I just stood there in the street for a second, next to my car. And he was just playing with his son, and his son was so attentive, and he was hand gesturing and just, excited to teach his son this game. And I just smiled, and I go, boy, he's a good dad and a good guy. And, it moved me. And then about a few days later, I went to the store, and there was a big close sign on it. And I go, what the hell's going on here? It should be open. And come to find out, he had a heart attack and died. And my last vision of him was him playing with his son and being moved by that. And I never forgot that. It's just one of those moments. And, I always tell you, tomorrow's never guaranteed. They're never guaranteed. But for me, it was very sad. And then this guy with money came in, bought all the stuff out, and started a place up in Manchester. And he was kind of took advantage of the wife, and, just a typical scumbag. But for me, that game, the Europa game, I make sure that I keep those 2 copies. And they are sealed. I will not open them. And it's more just to remember, every time I look at it, I think of him. I think of that moment. And I think tomorrows aren't guaranteed. And how much I love my grandchildren, my son, and my daughters. And how I should just always find time for them. Always. And, because, I don't know when my time's up. Especially when you're older. But that's my story. So I always have a story for you, right? All right, let's answer some things. One thing that made me pause and rethink my life was when I realized that despite my love of TI4, I probably have less than 20 plays of it left for the rest of my entire life. That hit hard. Something, Marcus, that's an interesting thing, because I really like TI. I don't have the people to play with it, but I would hold it in my collection and go, oh man, maybe someday. And I wish there was a way that you would have the experience of TI and be able to play it solo or with 2 players. But that's far and few between. I think the closest thing that I have is Zaya and the solo player, which I love Zaya, but I keep waiting for somebody to make a version that you could maybe play by yourself with a great AI. John Shepard, I played Eclipse Second Dawn for the Galaxy. I enjoyed the game. I have the first edition, and I thought it was more quicker, and second edition, it was a lot quicker, the second edition, and more streamlined. Okay. Schmeg, I have a question. Is Miniature Market still a reliable source in 2025 for board games and minis? I'm shipping international, and I'm curious. Yeah, they nothing's changed. There's a lot of things I can't talk about, but I can tell you this much: you can rely on them, you can count on them. They've always been good, and yeah, I think they are. They sponsor the channel. I'm not saying it because they sponsor. If I didn't believe in them, I'd just move on. John Shepard, yeah, DBA DBM had a huge following tournaments over the UK Fields of Glory. Had a few tournaments where I am from. Yeah, those are great. I mean, I still have a whole bunch of armies. Never played till I played a lot of Ellipse. Okay. Thanks for this discussion, Rob. It inspired me to consider just keeping Mage Knight complete, which is awesome, which I have, Too Many Bones, and Space Empires, all the expansions, and just selling the rest. Nah, who am I kidding? That's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to think if I can keep 2 racks. I think that's good enough. And that's more than I probably should keep. You know what? How would I do it? How would I do it? It's not an easy thing. How do I do it? But I'm getting there. Maybe 3 racks. But definitely not a storage unit. So I'm going to cut a lot of stuff down. I think I put a lot of hope in things. That my grandkids, will be very interested, and it'll be something that they'll want to keep. And you kind of want to leave something behind for them. They may just take it and throw it out, for all I know. But you just you scratch your head. You really do. You scratch your head. GMT having it on reprint also means I can get it in stores later this year. Space Empires. They're coming out with another expansion, and I love Space Empires. It's one of my favorite games all time. All time. Probably the greatest space game ever. But I guess we'll have to figure that out at the end of the week when you see my top 10 space games, because somebody said for me to make that video. So we'll take a look. I found Space Empires to be an above average game, Marcus, just for me. And one that I'll probably keep. See, that's, again, getting back to the whole point of this conversation. These things aren't life and death. They really aren't. And yet people take it so damn seriously. I get it. But, there are so many things more to life. Which, getting back to another thing that I was going to talk about, is, I've been having a lot of fun with my VR set, okay? And this Wednesday, you'll see the very first video of VR. And on top of that, I just filmed another one. And, we talk about dungeon crawls. Boy, wait till you see this dungeon crawl. And I do the entire first level and fight the first boss of this game. And it is a comedy show because I'm still trying to get used to VR. So I've been having so much fun with that thing, and I'm really doing more content on it because I'm very passionate about it and I'm enjoying it. So you're going to see kind of a mixture here on the channel, and it's been one of those things that I've been kind of fighting with. I mean, not only do we have, video games in our lives. We have board games, video games, comic books. How do you fit all that in? But you find time and you have those things, and they're available to you, and certain things hit you at a certain time, and that's what matters. It's the passion and the love for things. And the channel's become pretty stagnant. And I wonder if that's because after 10 years, I jumped the shark. Like I said, I look at my stats right now. Oh, I lost a subscriber. Don't care. I don't. I really don't. Where I would take it so personally. Oh, starting my journey, I did a video last week, starting my journey into the VR with my Meta Quest 3. I've recently been thinking of getting one. Really looking forward to more of videos on the subject. Okay, cool. That's cool. That inspires me to do more. And Ray, don't worry, you're going to be seeing a lot of videos because I'm kind of doing things and documenting my experience with it and trying to learn how to. I eventually hope to do a live stream, which I think I can do. I just gotta I gotta learn a lot of things, but I think I can do it. And oh my God, how much fun would that be? And you can find me if you have a VR. It's Seahawk 8860. And if you ever want to play some walkabout golf, mini golf, I'm game, because it's nice. You could spend some time with people. A lot of you that I talk with here, you can actually be in front of each other and talk to each other and spend time with each other. And then at the end of it, just kind of hit the button and come back to reality a bit. It's really, really a cool thing. But here we are. It's the 9th, Super Bowl Sunday, and we're about, what are we, about 7 weeks away? 7 weeks away from 10 years, and we'll see how many times I change the video in between then, and we'll just see where we go from there. And I think, like I said, I don't take this as life and death. I'm always going to give you my honest opinion. And, if it aligns with you, that's great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. It's okay too. It's just an old man's opinion. It doesn't mean anything. I could be out of touch. Well, that's okay. But I'm happy being in my little zone. And you should be happy being in your zone as well. And enjoy your passions. And enjoy the things that mean, everything to you. I make videos. How many times do you hear me say, like so many people, if you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe. Maybe say it once a year, twice a year. Like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. It helps me. And donate to my Patreon because it helps me make more content. How does it help you make more content? I'll tell you how it makes it. Oh, hey, I'm making more money. I better make some content. It's not financially made. It's not made. If you want to make content, you make content. But I mean, for me, I always come on here, give you my honest opinion, but I don't take this like it's life and death. People go, well, that game's just a reskin of that. Oh, I didn't know that. Because I don't make this this isn't life and death for me. This isn't the only thing I do. This is one of the things I do. I like making YouTube channels about board games and sharing my life and my struggles and seeing if you guys are going through the same thing as well. Are you feeling the way I feel? Do you wake up one morning and just go, man, I can't do this today? Or do you wake up and go, man, I got to keep going. My family's counting on me. And hearing, your worlds and how things happen. That's why I always tell you, if you need to talk or you want to share something, I may not get back to you right away because, I'm doing like a million things. We do have a farm here too. And, and you just want to get something off your chest. I want to listen. I want to help. That's why we raise so much money for charities. More than some of the bigger channels. The biggest, some channels, their charity, what they consider charity, is into their pocket. Now, when I went through a tough time, of course, I had auctions that I took. I kept the money. We needed it. I was getting rid of my stuff. But the most important thing is, I've always tried to be right by you, not be a personality, just be a guy, who I am. I don't drag my wife out here every week to try to get more views. Okay. All right. Oh, look, my wife plays board games. We're a board game family. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, it's all bait and switch, and some of these guys or kids or stuff like that are alone, and you bring out a semi-attractive girl, and then they think, oh man, I like her, she's my favorite, because you spend so much time on this stupid thing that you're not outside. Go play some athletics. Go walk in a park. Go do this. Get a dog. Do this. This, that, and the other. You meet the same girl. Go out. Don't spend your whole life watching YouTube videos, right? From a guy that makes YouTube videos. I want you to live. I want you to not have any regrets. When your time comes, and if you have the grace, the grace that maybe God will give you to realize, hey, I'm on my way out, or maybe you go in your sleep, or right before you go to sleep that night, that you think back on your life and you go, you know something? I lived my life to the fullest. I didn't spend it in a room. Okay. I did other things. I did a lot of things. Yes, I read. Yes, I played board games. Yes, I played video games. But I got outside. Okay? I went to dinner with a beautiful girl. I married a wonderful woman. I have beautiful children. Okay? I've seen things. I visit things. I saw incredible animals. I've seen, I've seen it where I couldn't sit outside because it was so hot, and I also been in areas where it's been so cold that then my nose hairs froze. To experience every bit of life. I felt a cool breeze on my face. I got caught in a rainstorm and got soaking wet by nature's shower. I've seen things. If you could say that at the end, man. Board game is just one little microcosm of your life. Don't let it consume you. Enjoy it, love it, if it is a passion, but have many passions. Be a Renaissance man. Be a man of many, many things. I've hit 400-foot home runs. I've had this one play back when I was a kid. I played this, I played that. I played kickball. I got dirty. I tore my jeans sliding. Sled rid and got blowed up. All these wonderful little instances, all these little pieces make a life. And when people take it so seriously, that one little microcosm of your life, and take it so personally, it's so stupid. Because there's just so many things. Enjoy everybody's take on life, because everybody sees it differently. You may not agree with what I'm saying now. Guess what? That's okay. But does it make you think? Does it make you go, wow, I don't agree with that guy? Now, wait a minute. Hold on. What are the things that I find that make my life complete? And now you've built something. Now I've made you think. It's not that bad, is it? All right, my dear friends. I hope you have a blessed Sunday and you enjoy yourselves. I'm going to go tape some stuff, okay, just so I can get this done. And then this afternoon, when I'm sitting quietly, I'm going to edit it all, okay? And then I'm going to put my VR headset on, okay? And I think I'm going to play some poker. I lost $60,000 yesterday. Fake money. But then, in the evening, I won $90,000. Really weird day. Usually I grind. I can I'll get up a few thousand and get out. But VR poker is so much fun. There's so many things I just enjoy doing. I love fishing on that thing. If I can't make it out fishing, I put my headset on and I go, well, where do I want to go in the world today? Oh, I'm going to go try to get a great white. I still haven't got one. But the dream's there. There you go. For me, good games, nice movies. Oh, I didn't even get into art and movies. You see, there's just so many things to experience that can touch and move you. Life is beautiful. You just have to open your eyes and see it. Not live it here. Live it. And I'm going to keep telling you that until I stop doing this, okay? Have a wonderful Sunday, my dear friends. I love you all. I really, really do, okay? Even the mean ones. I have love in my heart for you, okay? Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will see you next week. We got videos all this week, as usual. Tomorrow we have Lock and Load. Yeah, I think you're going to want to see that because Stuka, the new Stuka Ace game is unbelievable. You need to check that out. But check my review on it and let me know what you think. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We shall see you soon. This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.